You can see everyone? Hi everyone, how are you guys doing?
Hi.
My name is Lakeisha. I'm here today to speak about why domestic violence is still going and what can we do to stop it. Based on statistics, over 4 million American women experience a serious assault by a partner during an average of a 12-month period. Some estimates say almost 1 million incidents of violence occurred against a current or former spouse, boyfriend, or girlfriend each year. There's also a partner being harassed or battered while they're at work, and this is being estimated at 74%, while another 75%, not sure if you guys can see that, another 75% are murder-suicides occurring in the home. The question we ask ourselves and others now is why domestic violence is still among us, why hasn't it stopped, and why are the numbers of domestic-based murders and incidents still climbing, and why are the victims being younger and younger? For one, I think that finance factors play a role in domestic violence. The reason being, lack of money and security can cause for a person to become, enraged, angry all of the time. And most of the time that outlet is your spouse, your significant other, whether it's male or female. Whether you're married or unmarried, I feel that outlet is there. So you feel small, you don't feel like you have enough resources or anything, and you may even place the blame on them to, get past it. Another thing that I feel, plays a role in domestic violence is mental and psychological issues. The reason psychological issues are number one to me also is in order to stop the cycle of abuse, we first should deal with both emotional dynamics of the problem. One involves a destructive thought process or inner voice that some abusers have. They have them both towards themselves and their partners. Thoughts that consist of, you're not a man if you're not in control. He or she is a liar, or she's cheating. He or she will not obey me. Another factor is an illusion that that person completes you or makes you whole. These factors create a setting for abuse, especially when one feels as though the other is responsible for their happiness and they're not meeting up to it. They're not keeping to their standards. While women are most likely to experience domestic violence, forms of abuse occur between all couples, whether it's the same sex, opposite sex. You can be married, unmarried. You can be in a civil arrangement and you can experience domestic violence. No one is exempt. In fact, according to the Bureau of Justice Statistics, crime data brief in 2003 shows men account for approximately 15% of victims of reported intimate partner violence. However, while many steps have been made toward creating equality between the sexes, as Lisa Firestone says, we still live in an unfair, patriarchal society. Expectations are set that men should be strong and masculine and more powerful than a woman, which can turn over to be destructive for both parties. This risk for becoming violent, the shame triggered by the idea that they are appearing weak or unmanly, can trigger men to become enraged or act on violent impulses. In these instances, whether they experience an assault, a perceived threat, or an extreme, provocation, both men and women who engage in domestic violence are mostly acting on their critical inner voice. There are so many more signs to an unhealthy and abusive relationship that most of us are unaware of, but not enough light is shed upon it. But if we truly, as people, want to put a stop to domestic violence or even prevent it for that matter, we have to find something that works. Let's take San Francisco's Man Alive program, for example. This program has been successful in teaching male prisoners and domestic violence offenders in the community techniques to identify when they are triggered and how to hit the pause button. This approach involves a person taking 100% responsibility for his or her actions. by identifying moments they are triggered and realizing that no matter how provoked or upset you might feel toward their partner, these emotions will not kill you. You do not have to bring harm to someone that you said that you loved. Although these steps are ones taught to inmates, we can incorporate groups right here in our own communities, being advocates, volunteering, providing advice, getting peer counselors and mentors from all over that could be interested in helping fundraise to build safe houses for both battered women, men, and children. And if it's someone you know, providing a listening ear, an open heart, and non-judgmental feedback could possibly save a life. All of these things we as people, friends, families, and neighbors can do to contribute to the safety and elimination process of domestic violence is knowing that most people who commit abuse have seen it as a young child or has experienced it at some point. But in order to help in breaking the cycle and to reduce the cases of domestic violence in the generations to come, take 21-year-old Jackie, one of my classmates, a very close friend. She's a friend to many of my other friends. 21 years old, killed in cold blood in front of her home recently. Shot in the chest by a boyfriend. Someone who you would think they had a loving relationship. You've never seen them fight in public, never seen them have an argument. He shot a 21-year-old girl in the chest and left her for dead in front of her home. Instances like this it's not just, a 35-year-old woman, found dead, or even a guy being, harassed or tormented by his lover. It's going younger and younger. 21. For God's sake, it could be a 15-year-old that's next that's gonna have to endure this. How do you tell a mother that my 20-year-old daughter is dead and it's her boyfriend that killed her? Just because of an argument, a misunderstanding that can take the life of someone. It's heartbreaking. You think, how could someone want to take a life of someone's mother, child, a friend, a sister, or a cousin? Imagine the amount of pain this caused everyone that she's known. Imagine this being your daughter, your aunt, or mother, or anyone you know personally for that matter, being beaten or comes up seriously injured or murdered over a domestic dispute because you may have ignored them or have been too judgmental or insensitive when they came to you for help. Imagine if this was you or someone you knew or loved. How would you feel knowing that you could have done something differently or even offered to help or just be a listening ear for them? We have to implement programs that are effective and help violent perpetrators get the knowledge and help they need to not create the next generation of violent individuals and their children. Rehabilitation programs that emphasize self-reflection, self-control, and empathy. That also helps to build resilience, can also allow them instead to offer their children love, concern, and tenderness. That way, even in times of economic strain, people will have the psychological understanding and copying skills to avoid turning to violence as an outlet. I feel, if you see something, say something. If you can help in any way, I highly encourage you to do so. Millions of women lives are claimed in preventable acts of domestic violence based on murders. If both parties could have gotten help, maybe the odds would be different and the number of incidents can go down significantly. I think it would be beneficial for each and every one to attempt to save a life. And again, if you see something, say something, or you can be that listening ear. You can be that advocate. You can be that person that was there and you can say, I tried, I did my best. I tried to get them help. I offered them resources, but it happened, but your conscience will be clean. And that's pretty much all I have to say today about how we can implement changes on domestic violence, because it's going to take a whole nation to stop it. It's not just with me, it's not just with you, but if we all come together, I think we can actually make a change. Thank you guys.